Please subscribe and don't forget to press the bell icon to get notified whenever we upload a new video.
All right, good morning. Welcome to Chartbusters. Well, this is a show where we'll highlight all the buzzing stocks of the day. Remember that it's expiry day, so fasten your seatbelts. Towards the end of trade, volumes will pick up and we should see quite a bit of a volatile move. I'm Nigel D'Souza and with me is Manglam Malu. Hey, Manglam.
Hi, Nigel. Welcome back. Ironic that, the time that you were on your holiday was the time that Germany was at work. And now that you're back at work, Germany is back in holiday after the World Cup. So that is something that we'll be watching out for. But yeah, I mean, it's the expiry day. There is volatility. There are more declines than advances. But the good part is that we're seeing some bit of recovery, especially the Nifty Bank. That one should come up for you. Closing in on the green mark. We will watch out for that. And as we speak, a lot of the quality stocks that we so-called speak about, the likes of HDFC Bank, Kotak Mahindra Bank, a lot of the FMCG stocks, they are at record highs even in this market.
Absolutely, Manglam. And if you just take a look at the screen, since it's expiry day, well, we'll keep an eye on a couple of strikes. The 10,700 call, the 10,750 call, well, they are the most active in today's trading session. Between them, just take a look at that. 10,700 call, that's added nearly around 15 lakh shares. And you put that together with the 10,750 call, so that is nearly around 27 lakh shares. Remember, the stop loss for those traders added on the 10,700 call, well, that'll come in at around 10,720 or thereabouts. So it seems, at least as of now, the bears believe they can defend that mark. However, on the downside as well, we are seeing a fair bit of writing. So the 10,600 put, that's one of the most active on the downside. 10 lakh shares getting added there. The bulls will say, well, we'll try to defend this one.
Absolutely. And if the bulls can defend this one, you spoke about the 10,750 call. A lot of the premium would have been eaten into it or had been eroded. The 10,750 call, we saw what? The premium is around 2.5 rupees.
Yes.
So the bulls who are believing that the 10,600 mark can be protected, let's see whether they're punting for that 10,000, that last hour spurt as well, because they pay about 2.5 rupees on that premium. We will watch out for that. Crompton Greaves Power, actually, that one should come up for you. A sharp surge there. That one on expiry day comes out of FNO band, so that one should come up for you up about 6%. CG Power. But as we do that, here's a look at all the top stories that we're tracking this morning. Subdued trade ahead of FNO expiry today. Mid-caps continue to underperform the benchmark indices.
And the rupee breaches the 69 per dollar mark for the first time ever. Increasing crude oil prices and trade war concerns, they are the key reasons behind the rupee weakening.
The weaker rupee supports the IT stocks. Heavyweights Infosys, HCL Tech and Wipro trade in the green.
And oil marketing companies, they're under some pressure on the back of rising crude oil prices. However, all three stocks have recovered from the low point of the day. Well, it's expiry. The Sensex has moved into the green. Keep an eye on a couple of these stocks like Nalco that have got badly beaten. That stock has spiked up in the last few minutes. You have Idea as well, that's doing quite well. And BEL, let's pull up the intraday chart out there. Some of these stocks, they're moving higher as we speak. But is this the real thing? How should you be trading the Nifty? Ashwini Gujral joins in at this point of time. Hi, Ashwini. Good morning. What's the trade on the Nifty from here? We're trading more or less flattish, added on the 10,660 odd mark. Trade for today?
See, what's keeping the Nifty in the green, smaller stocks, PSU banks, BP, HP, those sort of stocks. The ones which are coming down are TCS. The IT space is now in the negative, the IT index. Hindustan Unilever is coming off. So a lot of, large stocks, the stronger stocks are coming off, while, you are just getting this semblance of being in the green because of weaker stocks. So my sense is right now a good time to get short on Nifty as well as Bank Nifty. We went short early in the morning, then we went long. I don't think there is much life beyond 10,680, 700. So that way your stops are nearby. On the Bank Nifty, it's closer to say about 26,500. So right now, good time to get short and see what kind of traction we are able to get on the downside. Expiry, etc. at best will create some volatility. I don't think it can really change the trend of the market. So having said that, Yes Bank is a sell with a stop of 336, target of 324. Voltas is a buy with a stop of 534, target of 550. And Titan is a sell with a stop of 851, target of 825.
All right, hang in there, Ashwini. You know, it would make sense to pull up something like an ONGC and IOC from the frontline indices. ONGC has moved to the high point of the day, recovered about 3%. IOC as well. Remember, the stock has lost about 10% this week itself, and now undoing some of that, recovered about 5% from today's lows. IOC too has spiked a bit. Is this purely short covering, Ashwini, or is this just a flare to perhaps be shorted into? What would you say of ONGC as well as IOC?
This is choppiness at best. You know, oil marketing is in a clear downtrend. All sorts of rallies should be shorted. ONGC, it hasn't done anything, you know, 20, 30 rupee type of range.
Right.
But I think today IT, despite good news, is coming off. So really the big shorts could be on IT because that's probably where people are hiding. So actually today, the place that gets a hiding is IT.
Absolutely, you know, Tech Mahindra should come up for you, up about down about 4% from the highs of today's trading session at the low point. Thanks a lot, Ashwini. We will keep coming back to you all through today's trading session. But let's move on to some news now. Government sources tell CNBC TV18 that there is little merit in creating an asset reconstruction company, or ARC as we know it, at this stage, with no final decision taken yet. Sapna Das joins in with all the details. Sapna, over to you.
Morning. So we understand that the draft report by the bankers panel headed by PNB Chairman Sunil Mehta has been submitted to the Finance Ministry, but they're calling it a draft report. Hence, no call yet, report yet to be examined in detail. Having said that, a strong view emerging in various quarters of the government, and on very logical lines. The view is that there is little merit as of now. Also because the IBC process is underway. That's one. Second, for small ticket NPA resolutions, you know, there are already ARCs which are functioning and they can take care of the same. The third, of course, and probably this is the most critical, basically the entire ARC model will have to function as per the RBI regulations. Now, if you go through the RBI regulations, the amount of capital required to set up such a model, and also or alternatively provisioning for banks, all of this will go up substantially if you try to bring in an ARC in the current environment. The question, of course, is where will the money come from? Now, a bit of a background on this, right from the year 2016 onwards, the view in the Finance Ministry at that point in time was extremely clear. When the Union Finance Minister had shot down, Arun Jaitley had shot down this proposal, saying that, the government is not in the business of promoting bad banks or trying to put in taxpayer money there. So even if you don't call it a bad bank, an ARC probably functions the same line. At the end of the day, you need capital. So it doesn't look as if this proposal is actually going to go through. It's not being taken extremely seriously. But as I just said, the official call has yet to be taken. The draft report is with the Finance Ministry.
Okay, all right. Sapna, thanks so much for joining in and filling us in with all those details. Well, on that note, we'll slip into a short break. You come back. We'll get chatting with the management of Mercator Lines. Stay with us.
Well, some recovery in consumption names continues. So if you take a look at Jyoti Laboratories, that stock goes ex-bonus today. That one's moved to the high point of the day and with fair amount of volumes as well, close to around 4% higher there. But Nigel, work begins, and United Spirits at the low point of the day. Along with that, we have United Breweries too, which is at the low point of the day. So the mid-caps still under a bit of pressure, barring some individual stocks which are seeing some recovery. But the stock in the green holding up today is Mercator Lines. Their subsidiary Mercator Petroleum has received a mining lease by the Gujarat government for exploiting oil discoveries for a period of about 20 years. To discuss this and more, we have Shalabh Mittal, the MD of the company, who joins us on the phone line. Thanks a lot, Shalabh, for joining in. So we see you've got this mining lease from the government for about 20 years. What does this do to your revenue? Because the first question is, when does commercial production begin? Have you discovered oil there already? What is the kind of reserves or exploiting ability that you have out there?
Yeah, hi, good morning. So, this has been a long road for us with all the approvals, in the pipeline, mining lease being one of them. So we are all set for production now. In terms of numbers, we plan about 5,500 barrels a day. It's an extremely prospective well. So in terms of revenue contribution, or I can say EBITDA contribution, this year we expect about 70 crores from this. And on a full year basis, because scale-up will happen slowly, on a full year basis for March 20, it would end up adding about 220 crores to our EBITDA.
200, Shalabh, just to get these numbers right, 220 crores you're saying for this year?
No, for March 20. I'm looking for the
For
full
March
year
20.
contribution.
For
That's
the
right.
next year, you're saying that it will be nearly around 220.
That's right. That's
220 crores on the back just of this particular lease that we're talking about, right?
That's right.
All right. And if you could just quantify that in terms of output, what would it be? And in terms of an EBITDA per barrel, do you have some numbers that you worked out with?
Yeah, absolutely. So basically, we plan to scale the operation up to 5,500 barrels a day. So that'll be the production on a daily basis.
Okay.
And in terms of EBITDA, would be roughly about $16 to $17 a barrel for us.
What is the price you're assuming of, in terms of selling price?
We are assuming about $70, but the good thing about our crude is that we expect to earn a premium on the Brent for its quality. It's a lighter crude, and typically on an index basis, we'll end up earning about 10% more than the index.
10% more. Okay.
All right, Shalabh, just a word on the prospects of the business. You seem to be quite sanguine about this adding close to 200, 220 crores of revenue to the company. If we take a look at the stock price, over the last 1 year, it has nearly halved. 45% is the cut that we've seen in your market cap. And at the same time, that has coincided with promoters' stake consistently falling from 41% in September 2016 to roughly about 30% as of March 2018. So with the lower promoter stake, the stock price declining and higher business prospects, are you looking to buy more stake in the company right now, or are you going to sell more?
No, we don't intend to sell more. We never sold our stock. It was through dilution by raising money for the company through the QIP we did last year. Okay. So the promoters never actually sold the stock. Absolutely, I think the story is looking very, very good. Of course, we've had a very tough 4-5 years in terms of shipping markets going well. And you see for this coal oil business, so far we've already invested money. This is the first time we'll be getting the money back from the business. And the good thing is that most of the capex is already incurred. Most of the debt for the oil business is already in place, already incurred. You see, so incremental revenue and profit will make the ratio look extremely good. The returns on equity look very, very good now.
So will you be buying more at these levels?
Absolutely. I'm a buyer for market any time as a promoter.
When will you be buying in this coming quarter? Can we see a stake increase?
We cannot comment on those things.
No, you just said you were a buyer. That's why we just try to clarify that point. But the short point you're making is that in the coming year, you would be looking at buying your stock given the kind of prospects, correct?
We actually bought some stock just 2-3 weeks back. We made an announcement.
Okay, all right. So we'll keep that in mind. Shalabh, just a quick question. You were talking about 5,500 barrels per day, right, in FY20?
That's right.
And at peak capacity, what can this go to?
No, this is the peak capacity for the current. So for the current well, and we would be over the next 2 years. We would be doing more drilling.
Okay.
This could very well go up, but as of now, this is what the estimate.
Okay, all right. And EBITDA numbers for FY19. I'm just looking at your presentation. You're guiding for around 425 to around 470 crores. That holds, right? And for the next year, you're guiding for around 600 to around 630 crores. Correct?
That is right.
And that is inclusive of this license that you're talking about.
Absolutely. So we are on track with all the deadlines we had projected in that. We had said that we would get the ML. I think that's on track.
If we just go by what you're saying, if I compare your EBITDA with your current market capitalization, it almost appears that it's the same. If I compare your forward EBITDA, that is FY20, if we go by the number 630 crores that you're talking about. So we'll have to wait by to see whether or not you can achieve this. A quick question on the debt reduction plans. What's going on there? What's the debt in the books? You were reducing it some time back, right?
Yeah. So the debt has come down from a peak of more than 3,500 to what it is today, to 1,700.
Shalabh, we are losing you. We don't have you on a very clear line. 3,500 crores is what you said your debt was. What has it come down to?
I think we've lost him.
Let's try.
Producers perhaps would try to reconnect with Shalabh. Shalabh, I don't know whether our voice is reaching you or not. He's making. Okay, I think we're connecting him again. Shalabh, can you hear us now? All right, I think we've lost him again. We'll try to reconnect. The two most important points that we need to focus on as far as Mercator is concerned right now, we need to know whether they can go ahead and pare their debt. 3,500 crores, the number that he told us earlier. How much has he pared it down to? Well, as far as the reported numbers are concerned, looks like the debt that they have is close to around 1,400 crores on their books. In their presentation, they've guided to 10 to 15% reduction of debt in this fiscal. So let's see whether he does that or not. And we need to also know how much money are they putting in to to pull out that sort of oil that they're talking about. And even the shipping business, they've been selling a lot of vessels out there. Right, what's left in the business. All right, I believe we have Shalabh with us. Shalabh, we lost you on the debt number. You said your debt earlier was 3,500 crores. How much does it stand at right now? And what is your paring plan?
Yeah, so debt currently, including the working cap, is close to 1,700 crores.
Okay.
And if you see, if we are able to perform on the numbers you're projecting, that itself will be a massive debt reduction over the next 2-3 years.
But you recently raised about NCDs as well. What happened to the reduction out there? And what is your reduction plan? How are you going to do this?
The reduction plan will now happen through the EBITDA which will be coming out. I think the numbers are strong enough for us to, if you see 700 crores of debt, and if you're talking about 600 crores of EBITDA in 2020, then I think the debt and the EBITDA numbers are very manageable. Over the next 3-4 years, we can practically look at, very, very low number on the debt side.
So FY20.
As I said, for most of the oil, the debt has already been incurred. We have a very small capex for this financial year of 65 crores. Which has been tied up.
So safe to assume that if you're talking about EBITDA numbers of 600 crores in FY20, debt will halve?
Yeah, should.
Debt should halve. And what about your demerger plan? There's a possibility of you demerging your businesses to unlock value?
Eventually, we will. Once the numbers stack up, all the individual businesses are making a reasonable numbers, both in the top and bottom line. We would definitely look at unlocking value to demergers.
All right, Shalabh, finally, before we let you go, let's talk about the dredging part of your business. You were pretty sanguine out there, but earlier there were news reports which had something to the tune of CBI charge sheeting you as well as 4 other dredging corp officials. And this is the case related to Setu Sundaram Ship Canal project contract at the Paradip port. Would you like to make a comment on this?
Absolutely. So we, in fact, after the charge sheet, it's a long case going on the last 10 years. We also won an arbitration award against DCI. And the key of the case, so the premise of the case is where the award has been in our favor, will now help us to go and fight against the CBI charge sheet. Because the bottom of the case is exactly the same about our performance. And the arbitration award which you won says that performance was great and DCI termination of a contract was illegal, and they hence need to pay us about 50 crores rupees.
All right. Thanks a lot, Shalabh, for joining in and giving us all those details. We will wait by for the performance to actually come by and meet the numbers, meet your speech. With that, we'll slip into a short break, come back, we talk about individual stocks and market action on the other side.
Well, we were talking about some profit booking in tech, Mahindra. Take a look at Cipla. That stock has suddenly moved to the low point of the day, so the intraday chart should come up for you of that particular stock. Even Sun Pharma seeing some selling in the last few minutes. Let's get the intraday chart of both these two stocks up for you. While in fact, if you take a look at the broader markets, well, some of these stocks have got hammered in the past series. Nalco, case in point. Take a look at it. It's moved virtually to the high point of the day, sitting with a gain of around 5% approximately. CG Power, remember, it's come out of the F&O ban. That stock, in fact, as well is spiking up as we speak in volumes as well. It's down more than 10% for this series, so keep that in mind. And Idea, suddenly we're seeing a bit of a U-turn. I remember the stock was down nearly around 3%, but that one as well has done a bit of a U-turn in the last few minutes, Mangla.
All right, so we will watch out for all of that. With that, it's a wrap on Chartbusters, but you stay tuned to CNBC TV18. Trading Hour comes up next.